this will you can post this in the.
Hi, today, if you're a business owner or a consultant or a person who gets a new business every time, and stick around. Today, I am with the author, speaker, sales trainer, and he claims to be cold calling heart streak during his 15-minute appointments. So in the 6 month, he got so many appointments, so he got promoted to next level. And his book, we were going to share his book as well. So stick around. Please help me welcome David Walter. Welcome, David.
Hey, I'm excited to be here. Entrepreneur empowerment. Awesome. How you doing, Mohammed?
I'm wonderful, thank you. That's warm excite. You see the excitement right there. And let me start with the question, David. Where were you? What happened? Who are you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, I was thing is you can have you're the product of the five people you spend the most time with. Jim Rohn, right? Or the average of the five people you spend the most time with is what you are. But that doesn't mean you have to be the best friend of Tony Robbins. You can read his book and he can be your mentor. And I can say that the two people that I was surrounded with were Zig Ziglar, See You at the Top, and Tony Robbins, and his Unleash the Power Within book, and understanding the subconscious mind, and also with Zig Ziglar, See You at the Top about the subconscious mind. That is was the most impactful thing, and those are the people that surrounded me. Not the other people in my life; they weren't helpful, right? The team I was on, they were negative. They want to pull you down. You have to ignore those people. You have to find a way to surround yourself with successful people. And you can do that by reading their books, listening to their audio tapes, uh, subscribing to their online training program, stuff like that.
What are top three mistakes to avoid?
Top three mistakes to avoid. Uh, I'd say one would be trying to compare yourself to other people. Um, because if I did that in that group where I set 15 appointments a day every day, everyone else set two. So it was a very low bar. So if I compared myself to them, I would say, I am great because I set 3 or 4 appointments. But that's not greatness. And greatness was defined by me by competing with myself and raising a bar beyond and saying, I'm going to set 15 appointments a day. And I meditated on that. I meditated on that. And 6 months later, I started, after meditating and visualizing, I started setting 15 appointments a day, not because I was competing, right? And that's something Simon Sinek talks about, the finite game or the infinite game. And the finite game, you're competing with somebody and you try to win a game. And the infinite game, there is no clear winner. There's only being ahead or behind. And you're competing with yourself. And that's where Microsoft is in the infinite game and Apple is in the infinite game because they don't care if they lose a certain battle to Microsoft. They're trying to constantly improve themselves from within and be better at the infinite game. And of course, now they're one of the richest companies in the world playing the infinite game. So don't compete with other people. Compete with yourself, and you're your own worst enemy. Most people want to blame other people for mistakes, blame their spouse, blame their position in life. I was born in a poor family. I was born in a poor country. I was born this, that, and the other. But you can't blame anybody else. You yourself have choice no matter where you are or what's happened to you. You can pull yourself up and become successful. I think that's two.
Yeah, give me one more.
Another success principle is to tap into your subconscious mind. There is no success, great success. You can have a win or a victory, but if your audience is familiar with Nolan Ryan and his no hitters, pitching entire baseball games, which are 6 7 hours long, and pitching and no hitter ever hitting one of his balls. That's That's a hot streak, and he had a lot of those. You can't get into these hot streaks like my hot streak, setting 15 appointments every single day for 6 months. 15, amazing number, and then doing it every day, unless you tap into your subconscious mind. And of course, Muhammad, I don't know if your audience knows this, but they have discovered something called the basal ganglia down here. It's a different part of your brain, and it actually processes habits separately. And it is what we call the subconscious mind. It actually, for all the doubters and the people that think that's a bunch of hogwash, a myth, you have to tap into your subconscious mind, and it's real, and it's the most powerful thing. And I can just say, I've gotten an Entrepreneur Magazine as a contributor by doing that. I set 15 appointments a day, obviously a long time ago. I just got on the EO Fire, booked. I had a vision board, a mantra, and I did it. And anybody listening today, the third principle of success is you must get a vision board. You must have a mantra, say it all the time, visualize it and believe it, and it will happen for you.
What are your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Well, my greatest failure story was I did this amazing thing, cold calling for a PEO company, and then I got laid off when 9/11 happened, and I started a cold calling company, and I ran that cold calling company for 13 years. Helping companies make millions of dollars. We physically called for them and got appointments. And then I went bankrupt. I went bankrupt mainly because in the IT industry, I was like one of the few people when I started that focused on that vertical. And towards the end, suddenly they would close their IT company shop and then become cold calling companies. And suddenly it was like every cold calling company in the world jumped into that vertical, and it just drowned me out. And I couldn't get an appointment, a contract to save my life. And I went bankrupt. I had one time where I took the employees out and said, we're going to have to close up shop. We're all going to go eat and I'll pay you. And then it's going to be it. And then we came back and we got some contracts, but then it happened again. And then, it was the end, kaput, and painful. I nearly lost my house. My mother actually gave me some money that helped sustained us for a period of time. And then I got a job, because sometimes you can't go from failure and then suddenly become an entrepreneur again, right? You got to do whatever's possible. I had to get a job. I got a job as a marketing director. But what I learned from that, Muhammad, was that failure is painful. But by going through that pain, you grow and you can come and rise out at a higher level. If I hadn't failed, then I would still be in that cold calling company, right? And I wouldn't have the chance to help other people achieve their dreams by cold calling, because I never would have written the book. By failing, I got a job, and then while I was on that job, I started listening once again to Tony and his CDs over and over again, and I wrote my book. I would have never done that if I had not failed in that cold calling company. And that's the thing. If you just have a life where you're on autopilot, you never fail, you have not reached your full potential. Failure is painful, but you can reach your full potential and grow into a higher level. Now I'm an entrepreneur contributor, a #1 bestseller. I'm starting a podcast. I've just got booked on EO Fire. None of those things would have happened if I hadn't failed.
Let's move on to success now. What are your top 3 success secrets that others can follow?
Top 3 success secrets. Success secrets. #1 is persistence. If you're not persistent, and and this goes into the subconscious mind. There's a famous saying where Oprah had I can't remember the Dumb and Dumber actor. I can't remember what his name is right now. It's escaping me. But the Dumb and Dumber actor, he's a famous American actor, comedian. He's been all over the place, and he's been on all these shows. But he wrote a check for $10 million and then cashed it like 7 years later. He wrote a check to himself, cashed it, and was on Dumb and Dumber and got $10 million. And in the you can see on YouTube, and there they talk about the subconscious mind, but he says you can't just meditate and go eat a sandwich. You have to work towards your objective. And that's where a lot of people make a mistake. If you do a vision board and you have a mantra and then you go back to bed, nothing's going to happen. You have to set goals. You have to figure out what is it going to take to accomplish that, have a plan, and move towards the plan. But what happens when you do the subconscious mind? Doors open up to you, things happen, ideas come to you. What you need to have when you work towards it happens. So number one is you have to be persistent and work towards your goal. Number two is I'd say don't set. A lot of people say set these. I forget what it is. It's the guy that invented CNN, that came up with CNN, Ted Turner. He would always say, set big goals. I want to become a 100 millionaire. I want to be a billionaire. You have no money in the bank, which is ridiculous. Set goals you can attain, right? You have to go through, and this is probably one of my biggest lessons, Muhammad. And I just came back from Funnel Hacking Live. Is if you're here now, you're at point A, and you want to get to point B, and point B you're broke, and point A and point B you're a millionaire. You can get there, but oftentimes you're going to fail before you ever get there, and you have to be persistent through that failure, but you're going to transform. When you start your journey, you're not the millionaire mindset. By persisting and failing and continue to persist and move towards your target, you grow until you transform into the millionaire. And you have the millions when you transform into the millionaire. And it's a transformative process. And when you look to a lot of people that you think, well, they're successful. Well, they failed a lot. You'll have to go through a lot of failure and grow and transform to get there. And the last success secret is you gotta keep innovating. You can never be happy where you're at now. We did something great. Well, you've got to keep, because happiness is the goal, right? And happiness is not in arriving at the destination, it's in the journey. And if your journey stops, you stop being happy. You have to keep innovating and innovating and innovating. And that's what a lot of people that have made a lot of money have said, that it's the journey. So be it, and that goes back to the infinite game, right? You want to be in the infinite game, and that means not writing one book, writing two, not coming up with one click funnel, but coming up with another funnel and doing something. And ultimately, I'll just throw a last one in there. And this is probably the most impactful thing, is getting value backwards. I want to make money, and I'll provide value. If you want to be successful, you have to provide value first. Think about value first to your prospects and be impactful and helpful. And then the money comes later. You give and then you receive. Give and think about value. Wake up in the morning, and I try to wake up. You're going to get to that question, but I like to think about, who can I give to? Who can I help?
David, we are entering into a speed round. That means quick questions and short answers. Are you ready for it?
All right, let's go.
What is the most impactful book you have read, and what did you learn from it?
I don't have a copy of .com Secrets, but the answer is the trilogy. .com Secrets, Traffic Secrets, Expert Secrets from Russell Brunson. It got me into the ClickFunnels, and Traffic Secrets taught me something called Earn Traffic. Earn Traffic is what I'm doing right now with Muhammad in Entrepreneur Empowerment. Is you reached out to me and booked me, and I appreciate it, on this podcast. I didn't have to pay. And a lot of people think you're going to have to get traffic or to get enough leads, you have to pay. No, he teaches you can earn traffic, and you can get earned traffic. And that's just one of the secrets I got from that book. But there's a lot of, I recommend all three: .com Secrets, Expert Secrets, and Traffic Secrets.
David, I see you're author yourself. Please show us your book and tell us why people should read it.
Yeah, this book talks about the story that we alluded to of setting 15 appointments a day every day, which is counterintuitive. And I achieved that. I achieved that by tearing down cold calling, the concept, all the things we believe in. Cold calling is a numbers game, or you have to find a prospect with a need, which is so hard to do. It's like a needle in a haystack, and it means putting in hours and hours of calling when you can spend less time on the phone and set 10 times the appointments with the counterintuitive things that I teach you here. And of course, I alluded to subconscious mind, and I talk about the subconscious mind in here and how you tapped into it and you need to tap into it. But really, all the secrets are in here. If you want to really, really change the game on cold calling, make it easier, set more appointments, and not be slaving and calling and getting all the rejection. Yeah, that's
Wonderful.
that link. You can get a free copy of my book at Get Book Offer if you want to throw it up again. A free copy of my book, just shipping and handling, and there's some gifts and stuff in there, and a lot of bonuses. So check it out.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I really want, one of my objectives is I'm on a mission to do two things, Mohammed. One is, as I've talked about the subconscious mind, I'm on a mission to get people to believe in it because I've gone to speak. I did a speaking tour when I launched my book all over the country. And I would go and I would ask people how many people have heard of read Tony Robbins, have read Zig Ziglar, have read all these people that have made millions coaching, training, and all the hands went up. And then I would ask, how many of you have a vision board? How many of you have a mantra? How many of you are visualizing? And there were no hands. There's a big gap, and I'm writing a book on that gap, a gap of people who think they believe something, but they're not taking action on it, and nothing's happening. And then there's a whole other group of people who don't even believe in the power. They think it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo hogwash, visualizing and saying mantras and all that stuff. And it is powerful. I'm on a mission to change that. Every life I can affect where they start creating a vision board, setting their goals down, visualizing a mantra, then I've changed the world, and I want to have a lasting effect on the world. And then the other thing is just I'm on a mission to get people to change their business model, to be innovative, because you can't be stagnant with your business and sell the same thing everybody else is selling. If you'll look at a lot of the unicorns, Mohammed, you'll see that they've done something different. Like Airbnb created software and took an asset, people's homes, and found a way to commoditize that, right? And then, of course, Uber did the same thing. Your car is an asset, and they created software to monetize that. The big companies that become unicorns, they do it through innovation. And the small mom and pop companies and working out of your garage, they're doing the same thing that everybody else does, and you can only go so big doing that. So you must innovate. You must innovate and constantly change, not just your technology, your customer service, your every part of your business can be enhanced. And there are no problems. I was just at Regal and signed up for Regal for their monthly movie pass, and I was trying to get me and my son to do it. We couldn't both do the movie at the same time. It's a broken part of their app, and the employee says, "Oh yeah, we know about that. We know that problem." Why haven't they fixed the problem? Customer experience, right? You have to go through your entire customer experience, and you'll find gaps and disconnects and problems that are happening. I have to do it myself. I go through my customer experience, and oh crap, that email going out is the wrong email. Oh, we're not delivering that. We got to fix it. But you got to constantly innovate.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Funnel Hacking Live, I just got back and I got to hear Tony Robbins live, and he talked about this a lot in that show about failure. And it's not if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You're going to fail. And he talked about a lot of his epic fails. And then we had another speaker. I don't remember her name, but she said to stop and snap back. And I love that. She even had little bracelets to stop and snap back. And that's the key is you reassess. In my new book I'm writing, it starts off with an epic fail of traveling to San Diego to sign up some contracts for telemarketing contracts. and then getting there, and then my phone blowing up with all these cancellations. And suddenly I have a bogus trip that I spent all this money on, and it's dead, no opportunities, and I got depressed. I was just drove into an Office Depot and I was sitting there, and then I suddenly snapped. And I this is something I heard before. Pretend there's a camera on you recording you, and it's going to be recorded for posterity, and people are going to see what happened in this moment. And I pretend I said, no, this could be the greatest story ever. You could turn negative what is it? Pull victory from the jaws of defeat. And I said, I have a phone. I have a phone. And I had an innovative concept of a way to get appointments on the spot by showing up and giving a gift. And so I just made a list of all the companies that I would target. I called around to see who was in. Is that guy in? Is that guy in? And I went around, drove to them, giving gifts. And I ended up, I think it was like 10 appointments I set that day. I signed contracts up. I met with old customers. And it turned out to be the best day I've ever had. But you got to snap back and remember that almost all the successes in the world all happen at the precipice of absolute failure, abject facing in the abyss of destruction and bankruptcy. People persisted just past that. And I'm thinking of what else? The movie I'm thinking about, the lady that sold online shopping, Joy. That movie, Joy, when she had to sign all the papers and accept bankruptcy. And she decided that night she stayed up and read all the paperwork and realized she had been cheated, tracked the guy down, got him to pay all the money, and became a millionaire just right after she almost went bankrupt. And that's the key, is you're going to go, it's terrible, it's bad. You're going to go bankrupt. But no, actually, life, the universe is tricking you. That's just a trick. Success is on the other side of that. If you just keep walking through that failure and keep persisting, great success is on the other side.
Wonderful. What do you want to do when you grow up?
When I grow up, that's a funny question. I want to be a fireman. No, I don't want to be a fireman. It's really about how many people you can impact, right? I could have a great idea, Muhammad, and I could meet you on the street and I could tell you, Muhammad, hey, check this idea out. And you're going to look at me and be like, who are you? I could have that same idea and put it in Entrepreneur Magazine, and suddenly everybody takes, wow, that's a great idea. Or I could have that same idea on the Tim Ferriss podcast, and then suddenly millions of people say, wow, what a great idea, David. And so I think it's about being impactful. I want to help people, but to do that, you have to have the biggest platform, right? And the bigger the platform you have, that you have the power to impact people where they're going to actually listen to you and actually execute on what you say. And that's that. When I grow up, I want to be able to impact millions of people and have them actually change their lives because they implement what I suggest.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
You can't always do it. You can't always convince your significant other. Oftentimes, they don't believe in you. You are lucky if you have a significant other that believes in you and supports you. And that's something Russell Brunson says, that the path of an entrepreneur is lonely. Sometimes you're just the only one that believes in it. Nobody else believes, your spouse, your kids, your family. Don't do that. Don't give up your job. Don't quit. Don't start a podcast. Why you want to start a podcast? Why are you going to write a book? Nobody makes money writing books. It's all these negative voices. And you have to have the fortitude. I mean, if you can persuade your significant other, that's great. It makes life better. But you cannot. That's just something that is going to stop you. That's one of the obstacles. You have to be convinced yourself, right, Muhammad? I mean, don't make mistakes. Don't throw your money away on programs and bogus gurus. You have to do your research and know this course is going to work, but then you still might fail, right? You just have to take the journey, and you're going to fail along the way. And in fact, that's something that John Lee Dumas in Podcasters Paradise says that when he started, he failed. His first podcasts were terrible. so, so you're just going to have to fail. If you're lucky, you'll strike it, and then you can come back to your spouse and say, "See, it worked." But probably you're going to have rack up a whole bunch of failures, and then finally you come back to your spouse and say, "It finally worked." That's when they'll be convinced. When they see the money.
What are you grateful for today?
Listen, I'm grateful for a gentleman that in Miami, I tried to sell him my book, and he asked me, "Do you want to know how to sell books?" And he showed me .com secrets. But I'm also grateful for a principal in Duval High School in Maryland that I got in a fight, and I finally beat up a bully, and then we had to go to the office and we had to write the story about what happened. And I wrote my story out, and he said he laughed at it. He said it was funny, and he said, "David, one day you're going to be a writer." I can't find. I've looked for him. I can't find him, but I'm grateful because it's those people that tell Muhammad, "You're a great guy. You're going to be a podcast one day," right? Those stories those people can help. Tony Robbins had a teacher when he was screwing up in life, and said, "Tony, you're going to be a great public speaker." Now, would we have the same Tony Robbins if that teacher hadn't told him that? And that's, you may be the great one, or you may be somebody who helps push someone to greatness, and be that person. Be that person. And I'm thankful for the people who pushed me and challenged me and believed in me.
Who is your living mentor and what is the impact they have on you?
My living mentor right now, I'm trying to do a podcast, so my mentor is John Lee Dumas. So I'm part of his Podcasters Paradise, watch his videos, consulting, training calls with him. But I really like Tony Robbins, and I'm going to his next show in Miami, Unleash the Power Within. I got to talk. Now I'm going to go to the full week of Tony Robbins, and I believe that however you can, if you can go to the show, read the book, buy the tapes, be around these people. And the thing is, the people in the audience, Tony's like, "Go hug your neighbor, shake hands, tell this to your neighbor, tell them they're worthy," that, and the jump and excitement, that is amazing. And so I came back from that event, just the 4 hours, and was like, "I'm going to change everything. I'm going to do all these things, and I'm accomplishing them. So I need an injection. I need more energy, more excitement to keep going to the next level. We got to keep energizing ourselves." So Tony Robbins.
Why is being impactful important to you?
It's important to me because for some reason, I got it from my dad, is I like to help people. In fact, I overhelp people. And that's oftentimes, it's a dirty word. I call it the 4-letter word, help. It's a dirty word because nobody wants help. Because when you try to help somebody, oftentimes it means, or they believe it means, that you think you're better than they are, right? I'm going to help you because I'm better and smarter than you, and I know how to do this, right? And so it's really hard to help people. It's pretty hard to help people. But I found when you have a higher stage, when you are on big podcasts, when you're on media, when you're on TV shows, suddenly people love for you to help them. And that's the impact. I do want to help people. I want to help people, and impact is the bigger my voice can be, not to be famous, not to get riches or anything like that, but it allows me for people to listen. It's just, I ran a call center, and a lot of people didn't listen to me, right? You probably have that experience, Muhammad. You've tell people how to do a podcast, right? And they don't want to listen. But and then you watch them fail, and sometimes they'll even blame you. But they just didn't take your advice. And that's what a guy told me. He said, people, they don't, you're not a superior to them in their mind. They're not going to listen to you. So you have to kind of climb up. If you want to get people to listen to you, you've got to climb up and get a little bit higher up on the social stratosphere. And then people will say, oh, wow, Muhammad, how do you do a podcast? Tell me again. Let me write that down. And then they're going to be successful, and you've impacted people.
How do you start your day?
Exercise every morning, and I listen to Entrepreneur on Fire. So it's a ritual. I listen to Entrepreneur on Fire while I'm driving to work out. Then I work out. Then I listen to a bit of Optimism with Simon Sinek. So I pick up an episode of that. I like Simon Sinek. And I rotate books. I'll listen to about 30 minutes of a book. 1 million followers. Brendan Kane is one I'm circulating right now. I just finished Whatever It Takes by Brandon Bornachet. So I'm trying to follow The Morning Miracle, if you've heard of that book. I'm not quite there yet. I do look at my vision board, and I've been recording a mantra, which was, I'm going to be on EO Fire. That was my, every morning I would record, I'm going to be on EO Fire. Because I'm telling you guys, it works, and I'm booked November 18th to be on EO Fire.
Wonderful. Who is your ideal client? So people can reach out to same people, not the people you don't want to help. So
yeah. So basically, I asked the question is, does your prospect, are they a business, and do they have a phone? If your prospect is a business and they have a phone, then you can cold call them. So that's the two requirements.
What is the advice you would give to your younger self?
You see, Tony Robbins talks about, it's about asking better questions, right? And so 25 years ago, when I started looking in the mirror and claiming my goal, I want 15 appointments. I'm going to set 15 appointments today. That's what I would do. And I would look in the mirror in the morning. I'm going to set 15 appointments today. And then 6 months later, I actually put a 1.5 and I did it every day for 6 months, a hot streak. I wish I could go back to my younger self and say, David, ask for the $1 million. Don't ask for 15 appointments. Now I know the process, right? You know the process. What happens is you just set your goal on it. And a lot of people set little, like lateral movements, right? I'm going to laterally move to this and laterally move to that. And I'll look past that. A lot of my friends were on the council of Forbes contributors, right? Which is like the baby program. Not to put it down anybody out there that's on there, but I said, I'm not going to try for that. I'm going to go to be a direct contributor for Entrepreneur. So whatever goals, now I didn't want to become a writer for the Wall Street Journal, right? I'm not there yet, but I set that goal, and anything you set, the way to make it happen will be revealed to you, right? It doesn't happen magically. What happens is the path, it can be laid out for you, and you have to take the steps. You have to literally, what is that? What am I saying to myself? That message? Oh, write it down. I would write, cold calling is not a numbers game. Oh, and I implemented those. And that's really the important thing. That's what I would tell myself. Put that in there, and then suddenly the way to achieve $1 million would be revealed to me.
How can we support you?
I love it if you follow me on LinkedIn. Getbookoffer.com. There's a free offer, like I said, for a free book. Yeah. To get this free book, you do pay shipping. I got to mail it out to you. So there's a shipping cost. But there's a bunch of free bonuses, free videos, training videos that you get. And I'm even setting up, I don't know if it'll be when this goes live, but you even get 15 minutes when you get the book. You get to schedule 15 minutes for a strategy call with me. And I've already gone into my Calendly and booked that out, reserve that time for the next 2 months. So you can get this, get a bunch of training videos, and then schedule a strategy call with me.
Yeah, I would be happy to receive that link so I can share in the description.
Yeah, well, they have to get the book.
Oh, if it's after the book. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, it's going to go automatically in a fulfillment email, and
Mhm.
it'll have a link to Calendly where they can book that strategy call.
Wonderful.
I'm actually setting it up today. That's what I'm doing after I leave this podcast.
What would you say about your guest experience on the show?
I love it's professional. You ask the right questions. You're focused on your audience and what I may have to help the audience, which is the focus, right? You focus on me, on you, and we miss the audience. Those guys and gals out there listening on us. Well, we're on a Saturday morning. That's what happens. That's other lesson from Elon Musk. Work like hell. Work like hell, but not all the time. I take vacations, but yeah, you're out there, you're listening to podcasts, and you're trying to find a way, and the answers are in podcast. It's modeling other people that are like I model Tony, I'm modeling John Lee Dumas. If you want a cold call, you can model me. You can model Muhammad if you want to do podcasting, model his process. But you've got to be learning, constantly learning. And my hat is off to everyone that's watching this podcast. Kudos to you.
What would you say as a final word?
My final word is go and do likewise, gents. Go and do likewise. I set 15 appointments a day. I killed it, and you can kill it too. So from Glengarry, Glenn Ross, go and do likewise.
David, thank you so much on the behalf of Entrepreneur Empowerment Club and our entire team. Really appreciate you. I hope our path cross again with another amazing guest. Until then, you have a wonderful time.
Awesome, man.